Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 94 of the Save Slot 3 podcast. I'm your host, EOF Gizmo, joined us by Massive Daz.
Hello, everyone. Good
And
year for
eventually-
NHL games.
Pardon?
94. Good year for NHL games.
Okay, Chris McGilly starting off the podcast in a way that only Chris McGilly can. We will be joined by Craig, but he's currently... I don't know if he's eating a takeaway or he's waiting for it to arrive, but he'll be here eventually, is what we've been told. So before we get to Craig, I just want to do some shilling. If you could hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's see if we can get this stuff up to go. I think Craig is literally going to join any second as well, just as we've done the intro. So before we get to Craig, Pengy, let's talk about what you've been playing.
Oh, we're going to do what I've been playing. Okay,
Yes.
so, and bought a member, because,
Played, bought, whatever you want to talk about, Pengy.
Yeah, so, on Nintendo, I've bought and played nothing.
With a K.
I don't know how many weeks that is now. I've played and bought nothing on Nintendo, but it must be quite a few.
Fucking Nintendo, am I right?
Oh, yeah.
That mid piece of shit, right, boys?
That's how Craig's entered the podcast. We couldn't wait 2 minutes longer, and here he is, effing and blinded about Nintendo.
Cheap mid piece of crap, innit?
Well, but before we get back to Pengy, did Azim live, Craig? That's what I need to know.
We got there eventually.
You got there. You got your McDonald's. We're okay. And what was the McDonald's order, Craig?
I did a Big Mac, some nuggies,
Excellent.
strawberry milkshake.
Lovely stuff. Well, we're glad. We were worried for a moment. So Pengy, we were just about to find out what you had bought and played this week. So let's go. Let's see what's going on.
Well, as I said, nothing with Nintendo. On other is nothing as well. So, that's another thing. On Xbox, I've bought nothing, but I've played some more Persona 5 Tactica.
And how
Which
is
I
Persona 5 Tactica, Pengy?
It's fine.
Fine. Is that the
Yeah.
review we're getting? Is there a
Yeah.
reason for fine?
It's just like really lacks like any like polish. It's like the best. I know it's a spin-off Persona game, but it's just like everything feels like lower budget. Like you go into some of the like little arenas where you're moving your party around to fight the Legionnaires. It's like, oh, there's like the last boss on the First Kingdom, there's some flowers like statues, and I'm like, yeah, it's just like a simple texture and that, and like when you do the visual novel bits, like the chibi characters look pretty good and they're talking, but like Morgana's just like floating, because obviously if they put Morgana too low, you wouldn't actually be able to see because it's like the small cat. So it's like, oh yeah, just floating. So you have LeBlanc in the background. There's just a floating cat and stuff like that. The game is on, actually, I'm playing on Series X. The game is on Switch, where you think like Reloaded isn't on Switch, and like I said about like the lower textures, it's like feels a bit meh.
Well,
That
lovely.
bloody Nintendo Switch is holding everything back, right?
It could.
What a piece of shit.
I'm just saying, it's like, you're playing on the Series X and you play like Persona 5, like proper, and it's like oozing all this style, and it's like and that, and you're playing this, I'm like, yeah, it's missing something.
What I think we should all do, boys, is all open our windows now and just launch our Switches out of them. How do we feel about that? Just fucking gone. Throw it to the
No.
wind.
It feels
No.
pretty extreme, Craig. I won't lie, but
Yeah.
Well, it's ruined Persona 5 Tactica for Chris, and I'm not happy about it, Dave. Right?
we played it on Xbox. I don't know. I'm confused of why.
Yeah, but it's being held back by the Switch. Fucking Switch.
And it's on obviously last gen consoles as well, so the Xbox One could be holding it back. I remember,
But not the PS4, Craig, right? It's just the Xbox One.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
that
The
shit.
PlayStation 4 can't hold anything back.
Hey, that got Resident Evil 4 and Street Fighter. No, did they get Street Fighter? I can't remember. But anyway, getting way off topic. It's just fine. It's just a fine spin-off game. Playing on Xbox. I think I said to you when you did the like a dragon Let's Play, Dave, like, oh, this game would work well the handheld. It would work handheld. Like the 23 missions I've done, like some of the missions are like a couple minutes long. It's like get arena to the end goal, and it's like, yeah, it's like 5 turns, and that's it. And it's like you've done a mission, so it would actually mean good on a handheld as well. It's very, you do like a mission here and there, very quickly, sort of thing. So it would be
Has
good on the
this?
Switch.
Well, I don't care about that. Has this dampened your excitement? Because Atlas has got quite a lot of games coming out next year,
Yeah.
haven't they? Has
Yeah.
this made you go, oh, maybe
No, because
they won't be as good?
no, I reckon Reload will be good. Now, from the trailers and that, it looks like they've put the money into that. And then obviously the other one they've got is Unicorn Overlord, isn't it? Which is Vanillaware, and they always make good
Haven't
stuff.
they got the one that's got the stupid name as well?
Metaphor
Unicorn Overlord.
Refantasio.
Well, yeah, they've all got stupid names, Dave. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And that's from the Persona 5 team, I think, that one. So, again, a good team. So, hopefully those ones are all good. I don't know who's made Tactica. Like I said, it's out of the spin-offs I've played, I would have preferred the dancing ones so far.
Of course you would, Pinky.
So, yeah, sort of thing. So that's Xbox out of the way. That's Xbox, Nintendo, all those out of the way. So we're on to PlayStation now, which I have played and finished another game via the playing on the portal. So we had Flower, we had Journey last week, and now we got Halloween Puzzles.
Just trashing it. Just absolute standard Pengy trash for no reason.
Yeah. So we're bringing back, I think you told us again, another one. Like, I used to get all the easy platinums on the Vita. So here's an easy platinum through the portal. It's free, so it's a free platinum. Dave, if you want to go get
I'm
that
not
platinum.
lowering myself to your level, Pengy.
I don't know if the game was pay. You had to pay for the game because I literally, and it's gone free post Halloween because I saw. Did I see it on? I saw it on.
Probably
Was it
cheapnastystrophies.com or whatever you go on every day.
No, it was like PlayStation 5 trophies or something, like YouTube channel. I was like, yeah, playing it as well. But I think they did both platinums for it. Well, I've only done the one. I've not stooped as low of getting 2 platinums on the game yet.
God, trophies are just shit, aren't they, boys? Fucking hell.
That's
dreadful.
Stuff like this ruins it.
Just
It really
Are you going to
is.
think
Stuff
that's
like
two?
this ruins
That's 2
it.
lots of 2000 G. Just think of it like that, Craig.
Yeah, but that's even worse. It's like if you're gonna have like a thing that you track that's just completions on your profile, the fact that then that counts the same as like Final Fantasy 14 online is just it's just awful. Just awful. They need to think of a new way with these trophies. They can't be giving out platinums as easy as they do now. But whatever. We've complained about it enough. So have you played any more actual video games? I know you've played more fodder. Are you going to talk about the other fodder you've been playing?
So I played that, and then I've also played, and I have now got a trophy for finishing the story in Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it took my game time on PlayStation is like 11 hours for something for Ghostbusters.
For you, that's Lord of the Rings length epic.
Yeah. And I think I finished on level 46, and there is a trophy to being level 50. So I'm obviously not that far away from that. So I may stay and get the level 50 trophy. I actually don't have many of the ghost-based trophies either as well. So maybe I'll play as a ghost for a bit and get myself to level 50 and see if I get some of those trophies as well for the ghost.
I have no idea how you've played like 11 hours of that game, Rangy. That is...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a decision you've made.
Yeah.
But then you won't play 11 hours of like actual games. You won't play Hi-Fi Rush for 9 hours.
Yeah, so play some Ghostbusters. I got the because obviously they added the new acts into the story in the Acto edition. That's why the trophy took longer, because you only used to be like level 20 and now it's level 40 odd. That you do unlock a ghost from finishing that. So if you do play it again and you're like, oh, what a weird ghost Pengy's got, is the finishing story ghost I've got. So I got that.
Lovely.
I also played, and I've now 11 hours or so into Star Ocean Second Story R, which again is mostly being bought Portal play until this weekend. I actually played a bit on the TV of Star Ocean this weekend. I'm at the very end of what was Disc 1, when it was a PS1 game. So I'm basically halfway through the game. So really enjoying it. Really good. Mostly being Portal played, like it looks great with 2D HD and stuff like that. This is actually the first Star Ocean game I've played. Most probably going to finish it. Another 2D HD Square game. Love that Square remix.
Yeah, and what's the final piece of fodder you've played then, Pengy, before we get to the
And the
next
final
section?
piece of fodder I played and bought and got another platinum on Dave because he'd love a platinum. And I have content on the channel, so you can go watch me playing some of this. That's Bluey the video game.
And how much you told Craig how much that cost you?
It cost me 25 quid.
Wait, what?
Wait, what do you mean? Wait, what, Craig?
I assume this was free, or you spent £25 on that.
Oh yeah, I'm spending sweet money to for the content on this channel. That's how.
So that's how he's trying to justify his shoddy platinums now. His content on the channel.
Wait, you spent... So is that physical or digital?
Physical.
Physical?
Yeah.
So you're going to sell it?
Yeah.
But is it, is it worth the hassle, Chris?
What hassle?
Of buying it and selling it for that. Is it worth it?
If I sell it for 20 quid, I've lost the five.
Yeah, but it's the hassle of
the time of
what are you
your
going to
life,
put it on
Pengy.
eBay and then have to you gotta take it somewhere and post it, and it's just not. There's better things you could be doing, Chris. That's just, yeah. There's got to be. I know. Wellington can be a dismal land, but surely there's some stuff there, Chris, you could be doing that just isn't.
Yeah, you could play Mario Wonder, or you could play Zelda, or you could play Hi-Fi Rush, or you could play Baldur's Gate, or you could play all these games that have come out this year. But now you thought
it's such a buying and selling crap to then just play for an hour. I don't get it.
Well, are you done, Pengy? Is that everything?
That is everything.
Excellent. Well, we'll move on to me because obviously I've got to talk a lot later. So we'll get a lot of talking in now, get a bit of Craig talking, then back to me talking. So I've done a lot this week, boys, both buying and playing. So let's start with buying. So obviously it's Black Friday week, month, year. I don't know how long Black Friday is now, but apparently it's not just Black Friday. So
it's 2 weeks now for Black Friday.
Yeah, it's just this sales, right? That's all it is. It's holiday sales. So in the holiday sales in the physical world, boys and girls, I have bought 4 games. Technically 6, but 4 games. So those 4 games are Lego 2K Drive on the PS5, which I believe you both own.
Yeah, I did pick that up as well. I forgot about that.
So we'll play that on co-op at some point. I did start it with my girlfriend on co-op, and it's pretty fun. It's a pretty silly little kart game. So it was I think the overall for all of these was 50, Craigo. If we're gonna do the net spend, gross spend cap again. But that is the one PS5 physical purchase. My PS5 digital purchase is I have bought Baldur's Gate 3. I had a gift card, so I think it was 47 in the end. But it was you know what? I'm in a bit of a roll with finishing games at the minute, so I may have done something that I will regret, but we'll see. I kind of have a plan, and Craig will appreciate this plan. So my plan on Christmas Eve, and I've talked about this numerous times to my partner because she's not here, is I'm going to watch all 3 of the Lord of the Rings extended editions, one back to back. I'm going to get a Domino's pizza order, Craigo, and I'm going to play Baldur's Gate for that entire 12 hours, and I can't wait.
Do you boys know what you're playing as yet? Have you decided that? You're going to be
I'm going to make a
sexy
character.
little elves, or
no, I'll be just a human. I mean, the bit I'm not looking forward to is all the random horniness of it all, which is quite funny. But yeah, it looked quite interesting. I've watched quite a lot of reviews. Obviously, it's going to come to Xbox next month, and I'll be kicking myself when it inevitably gets announced for Game Pass, right? But I was like, you know what? I've played everything else that's come out this year. This game is supposed to be the gateway into. I like turn-based games, so I was like, okay, let's give it a go. I played some of the trial, which you get on PS Plus, and it was fun. I enjoyed the combat, but a lot more than Divinity 2. Just better on a controller. I think Divinity 2 is just made for mouse and keyboard. So yeah, I'm going to give that a go on Christmas Eve, maybe before, because I am getting through games.
Mm.
And the only other bit of PS5 news is that I have finished Spider-Man 2. I'm not going to bother platinum it, much like Craigo. It is, to quote Chris Pengelly, is fine. Is my review of Spider-Man 2. It's not a bad game in any way, but it's very much a sequel. It doesn't feel very special. I kind of got bored. I just don't think it's as good as Miles Morales, which is was a bit more of a contained, shorter experience. But yeah, it's a fine game. It's like an 8, 7.5, and 8. It's fine. But yeah, it just didn't. It's not blowing me. It's not blowing me away. Spider-Man 2, but it's fine. It's an okay.
I can feel Chris Pengelly's rage from Wellington. I can feel it brewing in him.
It's just such a sequel. When you play Tears of the Kingdom is another good example of this. It's just such a sequel. The thing that made the first one really special was that it was really new, and God of War's the same, Horizon's the same. It's just okay, cool. It's a sequel to Spider-Man. It's the third Spider-Man game. The story goes exactly where you think it's going to go. If you've watched any comic book ever, you're okay, fine. Kraven's
they really
kind of interesting.
bottle that ending, don't they?
Yeah,
they
Kraven's really cool, and then he just, spoiler alerts, he just gets murked off on in a cutscene, and then you're oh, okay, and like you said, they bottle the ending. They just do the PlayStation thing, which is the Marvel thing. They just set up the next one, and you're cool.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fine. So yeah, we went to. I've got too much to talk about to dwell on that.
But the internet's going to be good when you're playing as Miles and ? Instead.
Yeah, maybe, but it's just another. It's like the Marvel problem with the shows. It's just cool. We don't resolve anything. We're just setting stuff up. But we'll see. I mean, Insomniac make great games. It's a good game. It's not a bad game. I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's not Final Fantasy 16, but it's decent. And that was it with PlayStation. I haven't done anything else on PlayStation. On Switch, I have bought nothing. But I am still playing Super Mario Wonder. Still a really, really incredible game.
The Switch list for one of us.
Yeah, right. It's not. I haven't got much left of Wonder, and I think it will probably be a little bit of a hibernation for the Switch for me. I'd like to get back to Pikmin 4, but we'll see when I get time to do that. But yeah, I'm just enjoying Mario Wonder. I'm 4 or 5 hours in. It's just a really special game. Really good animation. Level design's fun. I think it's probably better than the new Super Mario games that have come out recently. I quite liked U and Super Luigi U, but I think this is just a little bit more polished. But again, they're very similar games. It's a Mario 2D platformer, it's fine. But yeah, that game's still good. And then the big one is Xbox. So I have bought Tales of Symphonia Remastered. I have bought the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, the definitive editions, and I have bought Marvel's Midnight Suns. So the 4 physical games I bought were 50, and then plus Baldur's Gate is 47, so that's 97. Some quick maths there. Black Friday deals for 5 pretty lengthy video games. Of those games I've bought, I have started a little bit of GTA 3, and it's quite a lot improved actually. I mean, I don't know how many patches it's taken, but the first mission was pretty fun, pretty clean, looks pretty nice in 4K, and I'm kind of looking forward to just going down nostalgia lane with the GTA games. I'm really looking forward to playing Vice City because I loved that game when I was younger, so playing it with some updated controls should be quite fun.
It's weird. Look, I don't think they're actually that long, are they? In our memory,
San
they're
Andreas
these
is quite
massive games.
Yeah.
But then when I was watching, I don't know if it was Ray or whoever it was,
Ray's played them. Yeah, Ray's
when it came out, it's just powering through it. And you're shit. Yeah, they're 10 hours long.
Yeah, and I think it was £13 on Amazon, and I was you know what? I've been having a hankering to play these games. Obviously, we talked about GTA 6 last week. I was why not try it? And if it's awful, I'll sell it and I'll make the money anyway. But yeah, Midnight Suns I've been looking forward to as well. I was waiting for that to drop and drop and drop, and it has. So I was okay, again, I'll give it a go. And then Tales of Symphonia, Chris tells me it's not an amazing port.
No, because it's a port of it's a port basically of the PS3 remaster. So it's at 30 frames a second. The GameCube version is at 60 frames a second. So the best way to play it is still on the good old GameCube.
Yeah, and I'll see if I can notice that because sometimes 30 is fine. But we'll see. Again, I don't know if it's been patched.
But you are basically playing the PS3 game, so
that's fine. I mean, I haven't played it since the GameCube in 480p on a 17-inch TV, so I'm sure it'll still look fine. But yeah, it was a quite a good edition of it. It's a steelbook and all that as well. And I was again for £12.
Yeah, it's this is the thing. I'm saying, it's a really crummy port. It is still a great game. Symphonia is the best, in my opinion, best Tales game. So it's there's like is a weird thing. Oh, it's a bad port, great game.
Exactly. But as for other games I've been playing on Xbox, I have finished as well. So game number 2 of the week, boys, Like a Dragon Gaiden, which is very, very good. So if we're going to rate it, probably an 8.5, maybe a 9. Just a great game, a great little Yakuza experience. Mini games are amazing, story's amazing, combat's really, really fun. The little world they give you to sort of roll around in is great. I've quite love the side quests. I think it's actually a very doable 1,000 if you've got a little bit of patience. I think if you got into it, I think you could very easily. Probably if I played probably another 5 to 6 hours, I think that could be a completion. I just don't. I'm playing too much, but I think you could. But yeah, it's a really good game. Really highly recommend on Game Pass. £44 might be a bit steep for it on PlayStation, if I'm honest. For what is, I think it was about 12 hours it took me. But yeah, if you see that cheaper on PlayStation, definitely go for it. And if you're excited for Infinite Wealth, obviously it has an Infinite Wealth, 2 Infinite Wealth demos actually that open up once you beat it. It has a story demo, then it has a like Hawaii like open world demo, and that demo is really fun. And I'm really excited for Infinite Wealth now. So, and the ending is so good by far. Like if you think the Spider-Man ending's bad, the ending to like a Dragon Gaiden ties it all together. If you played the last game as well, like it all ties it together, so it's really cool. But yeah, I really highly recommend that, and I know Craig will play it when it gets English, which is funny because the Infinite Wealth demo is fully in English, so I don't know why that game isn't, but there's not that much talking in it either, so there's that. And then the final the final finish on Xbox is Hi-Fi Rush, which I finished today. I've said on the podcast how I wanted to get back to it after initially playing it when it dropped. So I thought, you know what, why not? Let's do this. And yeah, this is an incredible game. Probably the best looking and sounding game I've played this year. And the gameplay's tight as well. There's some annoying bits, like some of the timed bits can be really precise, and I'm like, okay, maybe I should.
Oh, you mean when you got to replay the buttons back to them?
Yeah,
that bit.
Some of those.
Yeah,
bits
that can be brutal.
Pretty hard. I got really good at the parry. I actually parried. So I was like 10% away from the parry achievement, I think, which is like 500 parries or 200 parries or something. So that was pretty fun. But yeah, it's a really good game. I played some of the new content, which is the roguelike mode and the infinite tower mode for a couple of achievements, and that's really fun. And yeah, I just think it's a really good game. Like if you have Game Pass, it's a must play. And I'd say I'd give that probably a 9 out of 10. I think it's probably the best game I played this year. At the moment, we'll see if Mario Wonder can overtake it or anything else. But yeah, I think that's pretty locked in, and that is all I've played and bought this week. Quite a big week for Dave. So let's move on to Craigo so I can get my breath back. Craigo, what have you been buying, playing, and all things in the middle?
Switch, nothing.
Obviously,
we are all shot,
and that's out the window on the floor somewhere, so that's fine.
Some kids got free Switch now, so.
Nah, the cat's probably tried to eat it or something, it'd be fine. Xbox, I finished Cocoon, and I went back and got the completion. I think I was missing 2 of the collectibles.
Nice.
Which isn't too bad. What a game, boys! What a game! It's great shit.
It's so good.
It is great shit. I think you said last week, Pengy, that it does get quite hard towards the end. It does. It does get quite tough towards the end. It really does. The thing is, it's just so good. Like the level design is so well done. Like there's parts of it. Like there was one part of it where I was on this puzzle and I was stuck on it for a little bit, and I kind of had a little brainwave. I was like, I might be able to do it like this, and I was like, I don't even think that's possible. And I started doing it, and then the game has this really good thing where like when you start making progress, a little bit of music will start playing. And then it will start like closing off the routes behind you, so you know you don't have to backtrack anymore, because it makes you so you can clearly see where you need to be. And I was like, oh, that is what you need to do. Like that's fucking mental. So yeah, I finished that. Great game. Massively recommend if you have Game Pass. I think it's on everything, right? So you can play it on.
It is on everything, yeah.
You can even play it on your shitty Switch if you wanted to. If that's the only thing you have, if you're, that's all you've got, then you can still play on your Switch. And I played some Thirsty Suitors, which I finished. I think I kind of agree with Chris that it's okay. It's all right. The story's pretty good, but it's definitely a game which pedals to the message, you know. And when it's focusing on the story and the message in the background, it's not too bad. But there are times when obviously the message takes the forefront and the story takes the back, and you're like, oh, just go back to telling the good story, and you can have your hootie ha in the background. That's fine. But yeah, I don't. It's fine. It's turn based, and I didn't mind the turn based battles. I'm not normally a fan of turn based. But definitely, I think it's probably like a 10-hour game, Pengy, something like that.
Yeah.
And by the end, I was getting a little bit bored of the turn-based battles because some of them do drag on for quite a while.
But do you
I think
like cooking?
I did the cooking, did the skating. I think I got all the freestyled all the cooking as well, Pengy. So I got that
Nice.
100G for that.
It's
But yeah.
because I remember, kind of funny. They even got like one of like the main guys at the studio on to do because Greg was missing I think the trophy or achievement in your case for like the skateboarding one, and even the creator was having difficulty trying to get like I think it's like I can't remember what it was, million score or 3-star all the challenges, something like that. It was.
Yeah, I think I did one of the challenges of the skating, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'll leave that there. Because like I say, the skating's like okay to just get around, but it's not something you really want to be spending a lot of time on.
No.
So I played that, finished that, and that's it on Xbox. And then PlayStation Boys got one pickup,
Woo!
which was Final Fantasy 16.
Woo!
Boo. Hard
Which I
boo.
bought for £32 on Amazon.
They dropped it to $29.99 the next day.
Did they?
They did. And I did
Oh,
laugh.
you could just not tell me that, Dave. I could have lived in happy ignorance, but no.
I want to emphasise the pain that game causes people, Krieger.
I think I've played about 15 hours if the PlayStation clock's right.
It's like semi right.
Yeah.
I always look on like again with like my Ghostbusters. Like I think my PlayStation says 9, and then I think like True Achievement says like 10 hours and 11 minutes. So there's obviously a little bit of leeway there.
And this is an odd game, isn't it, boys? Because
There's a word for it, Krieger. There's a word for it.
It kind of wants to be like a Devil May Cry, and it also kind of wants to be like a fantasy open world RPG thing. It kind of just doesn't really do either. It's odd.
It's basically Game of Thrones meets Devil May Cry. That's what it is, because it's the compact director.
It wishes that it played like Devil May Cry, Pengy. It wishes that it played like Devil May Cry.
But so, the combat actually I'm quite liking now. To start off with, I was a little bit miffed because it just felt like I was just pressing square for quite a long time. And I was like, I kind of like need a little bit more than just pressing square. But now, like I said, 15 hours in, I've a lot more abilities. I've got more of the icon guys, so I can actually change some stuff together now. So the combat now is much better than it was at the start. So I will say that. But it's a very grim game, isn't it? Very grim. Like I really like the overarching story of like it's this like they set up the world quite well. And they explain this whole blight thing, and it's like, oh yeah, everyone's got to move because of the blight. Actually, so that's quite a good idea. I actually quite like this, and they do it really well. But you can actually imagine that if this did happen, then this would cause chaos, wouldn't it? It'd be fucking people moving around all over the time. There'd be war, there'd be famine. And it does a good job of kind of explaining and showing you that in the cutscenes. And the cutscenes are very good as well, I will say. The game does look very pretty. The music's very good as well. But it is quite a grim story. And at times it just kind of festers in that a lot. So there's one point, I don't know if you probably did get this far, Davey, but you go back to your homeland. And you have to go through a village. You meet Lady Anna, I think she's called.
Yeah.
And you're doing this cutscene with Lady Hannah, and it's all very wooden, and she's just this really wooden character, and it's going on and on.
Is it you on about the bit
Eastwood? I think
the church bit in a minute or something.
I don't know, but you're with Lady Hannaford, and she goes on and prattles on for you for quite a bit. And you finish with her, and then the mayor of the little village is talking to you, and he prattles on for quite a bit. And then he's like, "Oh, can you go find an old man who normally sits by a well?" I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
okay,
I know
yeah,
where you are. That's
I'll
actually
go
quite far
find,
in. Actually, Dave definitely wouldn't have got that far.
No, it's
I'll
the
go
worst. It's
find
the worst
this.
game I've played this year.
I'll go find this old man, and then you go find the old man, and you talk to him, and he prattles on. And I'll be honest, at this point, I was really bored. And I think I actually stopped playing it for that day. I was like, I'm done with this. I need to go do something else. It's like, I can't. This is fucking. I'm bored to tears. And then it's like it does, and then it like you carry on the story, and then you go back to the village, and something happens, and you understand why they made you spend so much time in this village, but you're like, God, they could have been have some fun in this, have some joy or something. I mean, I could have there must have been some better quests or something they could have done. Like, I could have either the class, I don't know, like rounded up some chickens. That's in every one of these fantasy medieval games, isn't it? Someone's chickens get out, you got to chase after them. It's all a bit funny and a bit silly. That's always a thing, right?
Mm.
Or I don't know, the dog could have ran off with something. I got to chase my dog for but it's so grim at times, and the side quests as well. Peng, did you do a lot of the side quests?
I basically did all the important side quests.
So you didn't do the side quests, okay? So but yeah,
No,
they are grim.
because some of the side quests gives you so you can go to like the
I know.
blacksmith and that, and
Yeah,
you
I
can
know. It
upgrade
gives
your
you
inventory
different
and
stuff. Yeah,
and
but
upgrade stuff.
you didn't do the actual, the bulk of them, and it's like they're trying to beat into you this whole one of the key parts of the world is the bearers are like slaves, right?
Mm.
And they're like treated really badly. And you're doing these side quests. Pretty much every side quest that I've done so far is around this idea of like reinforcing this idea that the bearers are like treated like slaves and that. And you are a bit like, okay, I get it now. And every side quest is just like hammering this nail in it. They're all just fucking grim and miserable. You're like, God, can we have some joy? Can we have a little bit of like happiness, a little bit of good stuff?
Mm.
Maybe spend some time with the characters, because the characters are pretty wooden throughout so far, I'd say. Like, I've got this Jill woman who's been with me for ages. I don't. She's other than like all the characters exist to basically push the plot forward, and that's it. Is what I'd say so far. They have no like actual character to them, or I don't know their weaknesses, their failures. What's motivating them. They're just kind of there, right? So yeah, I don't know. It's an odd game. It's a strange game, but I do like the overarching world. And I'm enjoying the combat. So I'm kind of enjoying playing more. But there are times when you're playing it, you're like, oh, I just need to stop. Like, this is just too much. It's too much. Sometimes it just hammers the nail so much you get bored. Sometimes you're just like, oh, it's all so grim and miserable. So yeah, it's an odd game. It's a very strange game.
Yeah, I look forward to talking about it again when we talk about our end of year stuff, because my thoughts on that game are. Yeah, it sounds like you're somewhere in the exact middle between me and Penky Craigo, but not for me. I think you compare that to similar games like The Witcher, and it's not even in the same league.
Oh god, no. So, no.
But there you go. Hence why it's already 30 quid. But yes, we have a lot to talk about, so we will move on. Unless if you are done, Craigo. I presume you haven't played anything
That's
else.
me done, yeah. No,
so it's weird hearing you on PlayStation and not deep into a real Xbox game. But
yes, I know.
Maybe soon. Maybe soon. So, topic of the show is of course my top 100 games. So I'm going to pull that up now for the fans. Here we go. So we're not going to do what we did with Penguins, because I'm not going to sit here and read 70 entries. I will slowly scroll as I ask the boys if there's any real standouts before I get to the top 30. Obviously, you boys have got it in front of you.
Yes.
And what's that, Pinky?
So you have Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD at 97.
Yeah, it just made it in.
Is this here because of the HD, or would it have made it if bog standard
I didn't
Wind
like
Waker?
it on GameCube, so it's here because of the HD.
You didn't like it.
I played the first mission, got bored because it was stealth, and then I played Ocarina of Time. I've told that story many times, but I finished it on Wii U and it was fine. It's not as good
fine.
as it's not as good as
Wind
KOTOR 2.
Waker is
It's not as
fine.
good as Pokemon
Wind
Pearl,
Waker,
but
the
it is better
best-
than Wipeout 2048. So that's why it's 97. It will not stay on this list next year. I think there's at least 4 or 5 games I played this year that will make this list.
Can we make like a 200 list? So I can give it like 200 points instead of like 100 points or
Absolutely
something.
not. Any other questions, boys?
Not questions. I love the fact PGR4 just made it in. It's a great game.
Yeah, it's a lot of driving games on my list.
Yeah, a lot of Forza Horizons in a debut, which I like that a lot.
Yeah. No, it's really difficult to write 100 games when you've played well over 1,000, by the way.
Oh, it is, yeah. I love Assassin's Creed Black Flag 51. It's a great shout.
Would be higher.
Quantum Break, I was surprised to see that is very high, but it's
Which one did you say?
Game. Quantum Break.
Oh, I love Quantum Break. I think Quantum Break is the most underrated game on
I got
Xbox.
a question on Quantum Break. Obviously, you have got it pretty high at 47. Obviously, Portal. What am I thinking? Portal could, because there's like the near it on the list, I think. Control, for instance, is on my list. I can't remember. It's in like the 50 odds or like the 60s, and I think it was going to be on Craig's list. So, you got any plans to go back to Control? So no,
Control is on
it.
the backlog list. At some point, it might make its way from backlog list to current playlist on Xbox or on next year. But I mean, I liked Quantum Break. I liked the twin stories you could do. I liked the cutscene / movie bits in the middle. It had really good actors in it. The time powers were fun. The shooting was fun. I just think it's a massively underrated game because it was an Xbox One exclusive. I think it's as simple as that. I think if that was on anything else, or if they decided to re-release that now on PS5, I think people would be like, "This is an incredibly good game." But I really liked Quantum Break. I thought it was really good.
There's a few others that Craig, because we went to Quantum Break. You have Crash Team Racing, I the Wind Waker question. Crash Team Racing Nitro Kart, so regular Crash Team Racing, or if you like Nitro Kart?
So I like Crash Team Racing, but Nitro Kart is just better. So that's why it made it, because I liked it. I like Nitro Kart just as much as I like CTR, but it has more content. Same for a game that's very high up on the list that I've played both versions of, and that's why I've put the most recent one, because I've played it.
And the only other one I was thinking of is you've got WRC 8 on here, no 9 or Generations.
No, 8 was the one that I got 97% of the trophies, I believe.
Right, okay.
And the achievements, sorry, and that's the one I've played for like 70 hours. It's great. They're all the same.
And is Color Splash the only Paper Mario on here?
Yes.
That's criminal.
I haven't finished Thousand Year Door, and I haven't finished 64. So if the remaster comes out next year and blows me away, that might make it on. But I love Color Splash. I think it's, again, really underrated. People like to hate that game because it's easy to hate, but the people that I'd like to think that people have actually played it liked it, but not many people played it. So it's really easy to be like, oh, it's Sticker Star, but no one's played it because it was on the Wii U in 2016.
Yeah, and you've only got one other Zelda on here, which is Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
70. Well, so when's a proper Zelda game going on here, apart from Wind Waker?
Wind Waker is a newer version of Ocarina of Time, so that's why Ocarina of Time's not on here. Twilight Princess is similar.
But one's in an ocean, one's in a field for a start.
But it's the same game, Chris. Like, I know you
one
like to
has
go
a talking boat,
we did your list.
Fairy.
If you want to talk about this formulaic Zelda games, go ahead. But they're fine. I've never been a Zelda guy. Breath of the Wild, I really, really enjoyed. Played it on Wii U. But yeah, Ocarina of Time's not that great now. Majora's Mask isn't that great now. Twilight Princess is just a slightly better looking Ocarina of Time. Like, it's fine. Skyward Sword's awful. I don't know what to tell you, Pengy. The Oracle games almost made it, but I think they were like 110 when I started doing this list because I hadn't played them for a while.
Have you played Minish Cap?
Yeah, I finished Minish Cap. I like Minish Cap, but it didn't make the 100. It was like 105. I've played a lot of games, Chris. It was really hard to get this down to 100.
Yeah, I had I think it was 376 my list, but the original.
Yes,
the 100.
Right. Craigo, any questions before we start the 30?
Nah, I'm gutted Titanfall didn't make the top 30, but I get it.
It was very close, and I prefer Titanfall 1 to Titanfall 2, just because I played it a lot more. But obviously Titanfall 2 has the incredible single-player mode, which is what would tip it over. But I think I got so into Titanfall 1 and Destiny 1. Destiny 1 was very close as well. But
there's a lot of Sonic on it as well, Dave. I love that. Lots of Sonic.
Well, I actually quite like Sonic. And I did put some stats. When we get to the top, I have used my data analysis training to make some small formulas to tell you how many games on how many platforms, and it will not surprise anyone that 40% of my games in this list were on one platform holders platforms. So let's start with the 30. So I'm going to roll up. So there we go. Number 30, Super Mario Sunshine, GameCube. One of my favourite GameCube games. I think it still does hold up. The Switch version almost went on there, but I just haven't finished it, so I didn't want to count it. I just really like the world. I like Aldorfino. I like the kind of summery vibes. It was just a fun game when I played it back in the day. It's a really difficult game to complete because there's some absolute BS in there. But I just like. I think it's. Any what? Sorry.
That I was gonna say sure is.
Yeah, some absolute bullshit in some of the levels, but I just think it was a big change for the series. Like it's people always throw it in with like 64, and I can see it, but it's the weird GameCube thing where all the series were weird. Like Luigi's Mansion's weird, Zelda Wind Waker's weird, Pikmin's weird, and Mario Sunshine is weird. But yeah, really enjoyed that game. I think it's the highest Mario. I know Galaxy's on this list somewhere, but yeah, really
it's not the highest.
Is it not? Is Galaxy
I guess
higher?
It's the high. No, there's higher other Mario games.
There's a spin-off games. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's number 30. Number 20. Oh, sorry, I skipped too far. Number 29 is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which I really had to think about its placement. So I've done this list like for months. I think I've had it as high as 10 and as low as 60. And then I like honestly, like I was like, how do I feel? And I sat and I replayed like the first hour the other day, and I was like, no, this game's a top 30 game. I think its technical problems at launch really question it sometimes, and I think the opening bit of the sequel I've played also probably knocked it down a bit. But I just think it was a bit of a breath of fresh air to play that type of Star Wars game. Like I really love Star Wars, and I Craig really loves Star Wars as well. And it's just playing a game like that in that universe. It's just fun. And Cal's a really good character. The side characters are really good. Like Darth Vader's really threatening. It's just a good game, but it's just the technical faults. Especially I played it on an Xbox One S. I just don't think it was quite good enough for to go any higher. But for that type of game, I think it was great. So you've already seen the preview. Number 28, Craigo, Age of Empires 2. Obviously, could have gone on there for the original release, to be honest with you. But the Xbox release, we played like 100 hours of that game on multiplayer.
It's got to be like both our most played game of the year, isn't it?
It's absolutely up there, yeah. And it was a really fun game. If I could nominate it for Game of the Year this year, I would. Obviously, I can't really, but yeah, really good game. Lots of good content. It is the master of what it does. That's why the game is over 20 years old and people still play it. But yeah, Age of Empires 2.
I still watch it now, even though I don't really play it anymore. I still like T90 started streaming on Twitch now, so YouTube. So I watch T90 all the time again now.
Yeah, and it's so much better than 4,
game.
Sadly. Like I tried 4 and I was like, this is just a bit too complicated for what it needs to be. But yeah, it's good. I like 3 as well, but 3 doesn't make the list. What does make the list at number 27 is Colin McRae Rally 2.0 on the original PS1.
What a game!
It's an incredible game. Again, you'll see more games in this series as we got the list. One of my favourite childhood games. Used to play this with my brother and my dad all the time. It's just kind of like one of those games it does exactly what it says. It is a fun arcadey rally game that at the time was quite simmy. Fully licensed, lots of content, could play split screen, could play time trials. Still holds up physics wise. It's just such a big step on from the first game, and it was so much better than the V rallies and the other types of games at the time. But yeah, that's a nostalgia pick for sure. But I love that game. Speaking of nostalgia picks, Pengi, we've got number 26, Mario Kart Double Dash.
Oh yeah.
Another game that was from really high on the list or really low on the list when I was thinking about this. But in reality, for sheer amount of hours I've put into Double Dash over the 20 years it's been out, is just astronomical. And it had to be on this list. I think it's the most different Mario Kart that I've played. It's very unique, having the 2 drivers, having the specific power-ups. Like, it's very unbalanced for that, but it's fun. It would be higher if there was more tracks and it had like an online or whatever, but for what I played of it, it was a great time. And I've played it so much. If I could track my hours, it would be up there, I think. Similarly, number 25, we've got Super Smash Bros. Melee. I think it's the highest Smash Bros. I have, because
And
in
it
all
should be because
honesty,
it's the best Smash Bros.
so it's not the best Smash Bros. The best Smash Bros is the newest Smash Bros. In terms of what objectively what is best, but in terms of what I enjoyed the most and played the most, it's Melee. It was you had a GameCube, you had Melee. It was played in my college dorms. It was played in my uni dorms. Everyone played Melee. We used to play Melee and Double Dash every single week, like constantly, and I love that game. And you give me a controller now, I'll still be good at that game. But yeah, more GameCube representation.
Yeah.
I think eventually
More console.
we will get to a PlayStation game soon. I don't know if we will, but we'll see. So at number 24, I've got A Wolf Among Us. I think it's controversial.
Yeah, which seemed really like weird pick for you, because you normally when I talk about or play a Telltale like game, it's like, oh no, not a Telltale like game. Yeah, this is 24, which seems pretty high.
So the reason that A Wolf Among Us is so high is because it's not a. I have the completion. It's not a play the game through once to complete game. You do have to actually have multiple playthroughs and different collectibles and stuff. I just think it's the best Telltale game because sometimes these type of games are fun. I think my issue with these type of games, with like whenever you talk about it, is like when you play 20 of them and it's the same thing. I'm like, whereas this and Tales of the Borderlands, which I know is on here somewhere, they just were kind of the perfect version of it. Like, well written, the story was good, the characters were likable, you wanted to know what happened next. It released staggered, it didn't all come out at once. Like it was just peak gaming, because obviously at the time you have these things that are like really sort of trendy. So you have like Guitar Hero and Tony Hawk and these type of games that come out and they get born into the ground, and I think that's what Telltale did in the end. But this was one where I was like, for an obscure IP as well, like the world was so fascinating, and I was like, I really want to play more of this. Obviously we're supposed to be getting a sequel, but after playing New Tales of the Borderlands, I'm not that helpful for that. But yeah, I really like this game.
Yeah, but New Tales of the Borderlands wasn't actually made by Telltale. It was made by Gearbox.
It was made by Gearbox, of course it was. But it's one of those, like, you know, it's been a long time since this game came out. Like I played it originally on 360, and then finished it on
weirdly,
Xbox One.
because you've got I think I played Wolf Among Us because it's in my 100 near the bottom. I think I played it on the Vita.
I've also finished it on the Vita, and it runs terribly. But the Xbox One version, the one I've got the 100% for. But yeah, I really like Wolf Among Us. Number 23 is one of the two 3DS games, and that is Fire Emblem Awakening. Just an incredible strategy RPG. Brought the Fire Emblem series to the forefront. Incredible characters, incredible gameplay. The future time skip is amazing when you have all the kids and the pairs up, and the sort of relationships was very Persona-y but not enough, so it was overwhelming, and just the pure gameplay was good. So yeah, not one that Craig's played. I know it's quite high on Pengy's list.
I was in
Awakening.
Yeah.
Number 22, the PS Vita classic, Severed, from Drinkbox, right, Pengy?
Yeah.
Just a really good game. I have the platinum for this. It was really difficult to do. So I was just kind of proud of that. And I like the Vita. We were very much into the Vita when we started doing this show. So it's one of those type of games that I link together with it all, because we were just so deep into that ecosystem. But yeah, really good game. Again, I don't think people talk about it because it's so touch base heavy. Like it's more of a mobile game almost. But yeah, really good challenge. Really good story, really good world, really good atmosphere. Just a top game.
Drinkbox just fucking gods, aren't they? They're just great.
They do make good games. Again, if Severed ever comes to a platform, like I think it's on Switch, I'd assume it's on Switch.
Yeah, it's on Switch. Yeah.
I would recommend it. Obviously, not having achievements and trophies is a pain, but there we go. One of the platinums I'm really proud of. That one. So we've got our first PS4 game, number 21, and that is Horizon Zero Dawn. One of those games. I feel unlucky. I mean, I'm always feeling lucky for that fucking game, because it just seems to come out when there's big Zelda games coming out, right? But Zero Dawn really got its hooks in me with its sort of Monster Hunter-esque gameplay mixed with a very interesting story, and then the classic Sony sort of like story push. I think it's one of the best of those type of games. Incredible DLC as well. All the characters are very likable. The game runs great. Game looks great. All the weapons are really fun to use. Yeah, and I liked it. I liked it so much I got the platinum. So really proud of that one. And again, it's a very, very good game. I need to get to the sequel, but again, it has the sequel problem like I talked about earlier. That's just more of the game. But yeah, I always recommend Zero Dawn to anyone.
When I went back and listened to our game of the year for last year, YouTube were fucking brutal on that sequel.
It was just really boring.
Cool, YouTube, it's pretty much YouTube said you're like, yeah, it's boring. I was like, fucking hell, these two.
I'm told the DLC for Forbidden West is where it gets really, really good.
Apparently, I nearly because it's on
sale at the minute.
Yeah, it's like £10 on Black Friday or Black Week as it seems to be. But I've not picked it up. Yeah.
But yes, that is my number 21. So number 20, Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped.
Wow. Great game.
It's a great game. Best Crash Bandicoot game on the PS1. Another nostalgia pick from the childhood. Really enjoyed that game when I was a kid. Beat it multiple times. Got the 107% or whatever it is for completing it, plus all the bonuses. And it's just a good ass platformer on the PS1.
Or is.
But yeah, I don't know if you've even played Crash Bandicoot 3, have you, Craig?
Oh god, no.
Before your time. Number 19. We're not on Pengel's list because he hates Sega. But number 19 is Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast. Great game.
So why Sonic Adventure, not Sonic Adventure 2? And is Sonic Adventure 2 on this list?
I don't think 2 is on this list. And 2 is actually
what
way
do you
worse.
Mean? How is 2 worse? We have Shadow for
let
a
me
start.
explain to you, Chris Mingelli. So, Sonic Adventure 1, you've got 6 campaigns, right?
Yeah, but one of them's big, the cat.
Let me talk. Sonic, lots of levels, fun. Right? Tails, the same as Sonic, lots of levels, fun. Amy Rose, 3 levels, is fine. Knuckles the Echidna, not broken, as it is in 2, because you can get the crystals in any order, so the levels aren't 40 minutes of wandering around. Big the Cat is a Sega Bass fishing game. People have actually played that game. It's really not that bad. Honestly, Big the Cat's missions are not that bad. And again, there's 3 of them. And E102 Gamma, also fun. And then you get the Supersonic level at the end. Really good music. Great. Sonic Adventure 2, you have the Sonic and Shadow levels, which are at most, 30% of the game. Then you got the awful Tails and Eggman levels, which are the Gamma levels, but longer and worse. And then they ruined the Knuckles and Rouge levels by making you do the things in the wrong order. That's why, Pinky. As much as I love Shadow the Hedgehog, and the fact that he's the ultimate life form.
Yeah.
It's just not as good. But yeah, Sonic Adventure 1, I actually love the Dreamcast. Didn't let it die like Penky did.
Plus, you put the Dreamcast version. Surely you would put Deluxe on the GameCube.
No, it looks way worse on the Deluxe version, Pengy. You should know. If you'd played the Dreamcast version, you'd know it has the superior graphic style. But yeah, it's way too shiny on the GameCube. But yeah, I love Sonic Adventure.
The highest Dreamcast game as well, excellent.
There is quite a lot on here. You'll see my stats coming in now on the right hand side as we scroll down. Number 18.
Stats are debatable.
What do you mean they're debatable? They're stats, Pengy.
Yeah, but some of these games are multi-format.
It's what I played them on. Pengy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Why would I put a GameCube game that I didn't play on GameCube? Why would I put it on PS2 for the sake of a list?
I mean, this is Dave's list, so
this is my list.
Played it on Penguin. Do you know what I mean? Get out.
I know. Anyway, speaking of great games on the Xbox 360, I played Lost Odyssey at number 18. The true Final Fantasy X from Hirobudo Sakaguchi. One of the best stories I've ever played in a JRPG. The whole half of the group being immortal, half not. It really hits home. 4 discs of greatness on the 360.
4 discs?
Yeah.
What a time to be alive. I miss those shenanigans.
It was so many discs, Rigo, that they put the most discs that could be held in a 360 case is 3. So the 4th disc was in a cardboard sleeve in where the manual was.
Love that.
But absolutely adore this game. One of the best exclusives on the 360, also on backwards compatible on the new console, so I really recommend them. Just a absolutely outstanding turn-based JRPG, and there was very few in this generation. But it's very good.
Probably one of the best of that generation, because we were talking about it, weren't we? When you played like a dragon, like JRPGs were like awful during like the
Awful
PS3
during the
and
PS3
360.
360. Yeah, unless you like
Yeah.
Tales,
Yeah.
which were good on PS3, and there was Vesperia was good on Xbox. There was, I mean, the 360 had a lot more than people give it credit for, with like Eternal Sonata as well, obviously Blue Dragon, but yeah, Lost Odyssey was great, and I always recommend that game. 17, another GameCube game, Mario Party 4. Some may ask why. It's the best Mario Party and the one I played the most. It's just fun with friends. You can't really go wrong with Mario Party, can you?
Yeah, it's hard because like I think was it 4 and 5 didn't have the microphone, and then it's
Yeah,
the one
6 and
that
7
had
have microphone, but 5 and
Yeah.
6 have like items that you throw on the ground in capsules, whereas 4 was kind of the last of the pure.
Yeah.
Like it was more similar to 3, and I didn't have an N64, so 1, 2, and 3 aren't going to be on here. But yeah, Mario Party. Here's a Craig one. Number 16, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, the game.
So I don't think I ever actually played this.
Oh, you would.
This was like,
you
was this
would
be
be
like
so happy.
PlayStation 2?
It was
sort
PS2,
of time, right?
GameCube, and Xbox. I played it on OG Xbox, and I still have. I think there's a video on my channel of me playing it on OG Xbox. For a Lord of the Rings movie fan, it is just pure delight, boys. You play through all the big things in the movie as the characters. It's a beat 'em up. It's co-op. It controls great. It came out before the film, I believe. So like I saw all of the cool cutscenes, which were literally taken from the movie, of like the Dead Mountain people, and Helm's Deep is the start of the game. You play as Gandalf the White, and Two Towers was good, but this was just so much better. And it's such a simple game. You could unlock Isildur and Elendil, and just have a great time. Just have a great time. Such a good game. It's a shame games like this don't get made anymore, to be honest, because I'd lose my crap for a HD re-release of this. It would be on your list now, Craig. If you played it now, I honestly believe it would be on your top 100. I'm that confident.
Yeah, I think I've seen people play it before and it looked good. This is the one where you can pick which character you play as, right?
Yeah. If we ever get a week or a couple of days where like I have a free house, I have it. You come over. We'll do a whole video. We'll play the whole game. It's about 5 hours long.
But you're right. It is a shame that games like this don't really get this. Just simple, tie-in games like this don't get made that much anymore.
At number 15, I've got a controversial one for Pengy. This is Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah.
On the PS1.
Not really controversial, is it?
It's controversial how low it is, I think.
It is. Well, I think I had it at 11, so I had it at 11, you had it in 15, so it's similar positioning.
Still a great game. I just think, honestly, making a top 15 was really difficult, and it's just not a game I think I'm going to come back to again. And it's kind of hit its age. I think if they were to do a remaster, that might hold me back in. I did play the Switch version.
There's rumours of the remake, isn't there? Especially it was on that NVIDIA GeForce leak, and like everything else has been true from that leak, hasn't it? So
exactly. But yeah, I know Craig's got nothing to add. But yeah, Final Fantasy IX. Number 14.
Final Fantasy, by looking at it.
Yes, it is my favorite Final Fantasy. Just Final Fantasy VII remake.
So
almost
it is
made
a little bit a bit of a spoilers if we ever do that a new Final Fantasy rating. 9's our favourite because I've got it at 11 and Dave's got it at 15.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The story's great. I think it's the best looking PS1 game. But yeah. Number 14, Dirt 5.
You've put the wrong system. You've put Xbox Series. Don't you mean Stadia?
Sadly, didn't complete it on Stadia. But I did complete it on Series X, and I also completed it on PS4 and PS5. Because I love this game. I've talked about it so much on the podcast, I'm not going to say anything else. But yeah, Dirt 5 is good. It's a great game. Everyone play it. It's on Game Pass. Number 13, another one for Craigo. Lord of the Rings, Shadow of Mordor.
Great game. Assassin's Creed, Lord of the Rings. Oh.
It's Assassin's Creed, Lord of the Rings. Again, harkening back to our love of the world. I love Middle-earth. It's just a world that I would play games in constantly. It's my Star Wars. It's my whatever. Like Middle-earth is where it's at for me. Just great. Like Craig said, it's like Assassin's Creed, but like way more actiony. The story's pretty good. The ending for the main game isn't fantastic, but it's fine. DLC is really good. Just so satisfying. The Nemesis system is amazing and really unique. and obviously it's coming back for the Wonder Woman game, so I'm looking forward
Yeah, I
to
was
what they
gonna
do with
say
it.
the Wonder Woman game's supposed to have that, isn't it?
I'd still like to get to Shadow of War. I know people were very critical of that game when it came out because of the microtransactions. I know they're gone, and obviously it takes the story in its own way, and Shadow of Mordor does as well. But yeah, really,
Yeah, they
really
both
great
take
game.
liberties, but the second
Yeah.
one takes like it goes fucking mental. The second one.
But to be honest, after watching Rings of Power, I'm kind of like, you know
Yes.
what? I don't
Yes.
mind so much. I want to feel that Nemesis system, so I think I will do a playthrough of Shadow of War soon. But yeah, Shadow of Mordor, 2014, Xbox One, very, very fun, very, very fun game. Number 12, another one for Craigo, Forza Horizon 5.
Huge.
I think I have almost all of the Forza Horizon. I think I've got all of them apart from 2 in my top 100. Just the best series on Xbox. If you like arcadey racing games with really high quality graphics, physics, and licenses, I think you can't really go wrong with the Forza Horizon games. You could throw a blanket over 3, 4, and 5. They're all incredible. But yeah, really enjoyed 5. Me and Craig played it a lot.
I've got like 140 hours in this game or something like that. A lot of time in this game.
Yeah, it's
I think it's like 4 or 5 on my list. It's very, very high.
yeah, it's a very, very, very good game. Again, it could have been higher, but there's just a lot of games that I've played. But yeah, really good game. Go on to so number 11. This one's dropped a little bit, and I think the reasons it's dropped a little bit is just they've remade this a couple of times, so I just think there's better ways to play it. But it's a very much a nostalgia pick, and that's Pokemon Red, which I got. It was my first Pokemon game. Obviously, played it a lot. It says Game Boy. I really played it more on the Super Nintendo via the Super Game Boy, but yeah, Pokemon Red. It's just one of those games. I think every game in the top, probably the top 10, 11, if you put it in front of me today, I'd play it again. And Pokemon Red, I would play again if you put it in front of me today, and I'd finish it in 17 hours and be like, yeah, cool. But yeah, just an incredible entry point for JRPGs. Obviously, the Pokemon world, if you get in, is a tough one to get out of because it's just the collecting aspect is so good. Yeah, just the start of the phenomena. Pokemon Red.
Oh yeah.
Number 10, Sleeping Dogs.
I'm kind of disappointed in how low this is, seeing how you always talk about it.
I mean, I love the game. That's why it's a top 10 game. Like I said, when you see my top 10, you'll see that like it was very difficult for me to put it in any higher or any lower. But it's just another one of those games that's I don't think many people have actually played. But it just hit at such a point for me where it's a really interesting premise. Like, I love Rush Hour. So like having this sort of true crime, there's a pun there, undercover cop game set in Hong Kong with the Shadow of Mordor Batman combat, with the GTA driving, but in a small condensed area, like that doesn't really focus on shooting, but it's still kind of like funny and has the like cockfighting and like the in jokes and the really really good collectible system. It has the sort of contextual combat where you can slam people's heads through walls or into grates and stuff. Emma Stone's in it, Pengy, which is something.
Really?
Yeah, she's a character. Emma Stone's a character in it. She's one of the
Good-looking woman.
She's the first date, and all the dates you go on like 5 dates. They unlock the collectibles on the map, so you can just find them. Oh, it's just so good. DLC is really fun as well. One's a horror one, one's like a terroristy one, and yeah, it's just a really great game. It's always like £3 on sale for the definitive editions, and I wish more people would play it because it is a very underrated game. Number 9. This is one Pengy will be upset with. And that is Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah, because I feel this was your number one for quite a long time.
For a long time, it was a number one. I think the longer I get away from it, the more I see it as the one-off playthrough it was. And I think that's what holds it back. It was an incredible game. Really got me back into JRPGs. And the story's fantastic. The characters are fantastic. The gameplay's great. But it is one of those things, and I think it's evident by the fact that I've been so unable to finish Persona 5. It's very much a one and done, and I think unfortunately the series feels like a one and done for me. Like, I'm curious if 3 Reloaded pulls me back in.
Because 3, obviously being that on Game Pass, it's not like you got to spend 60, 70 quid to try it. You can just play it through Game Pass.
And it hit at a time where I had the time to play 120 hours of a JRPG. Like, I was working at the time where you guys work, and I was doing 2 till 10, 5 days a week. So I'd come back, walk home, 45 minutes home, I would sit there on the sofa and on my Vita, and I'd play that game for a couple hours and go to sleep. I'd unwind in the world of Persona 4 Golden, and I think that really hit. But I think now, the older I get, with the less time I get, I just can't see me ever replaying it. I would have replayed it when it came to Game Pass. If I really wanted it to be in my top like 5 or 6 games, I think I would have replayed it. But I didn't. So it's number 9. Number 8. So this is a bit of a cop-out, but I didn't really have a specific year, which is why that I've left it at 8, because in reality it's number 1, but I've left it at 8, and that's Football Manager. It's an addiction that will never end. I love it. I play 100 plus hours every year, but it's not a way for me to explain why one specific year that is the game of the year. Because like I wouldn't put FIFA and have all the FIFAs. I wouldn't put COD and have all the CODs. So I can't really.
So if you did all the years, your top 20 would just be Football Manager for the last like 20 years.
Exactly. So I put Football Manager as a concept.
It's boring at that point.
Yeah. Number 8. Love the game. I haven't bought this year's yet, which is so far the longest I've held off for some time.
Oh, I thought of such a good save as well earlier.
And what was that?
Obviously, I'm guessing on the new one, if you start with Everton, you start with -10.
You won't yet. When they patch it, it will.
Yeah, I was thinking that'd be a good save.
So in January,
start with Everton and then like try and save Everton from -10.
I think that'd be very easy to do.
Yeah, probably with some of the teams that are in there. You're probably right.
I don't think Luton are going to win as many games on the game as they will in real life. But yeah, Football Manager, if you like football and you like those type of games, it's got to be on there. Number 7, one for Craigo, and that's Halo 3. Excuse me.
It's got to be on all of our lists, surely. Surely that's on your list, Pengy. Halo 3.
No, Halo 3 wasn't in my top 100, but I remember I did have. I had 3 Halo games in my top 100. Remember, mine were 2 Reach and one that Dave will talk about in a minute.
2 and Reach didn't make the list for me. 2 was close to the top 100, but I think its flaws just heavily outweighed the other games on the list.
Especially the ending. The ending was kind of
I
disappointing.
think it's the difficulty of the co-op, and then the sort of the ending is what it is.
It's the worst multiplayer as well.
Yeah, I think at the time it was good, but it was followed so quickly by 3 that.
See, this is the thing. I played so much of that online on the original Xbox, and like even played a bit on the 360 because it's backwards compatible. I feel that's why I personally got more love for 2 than 3 because I just played much more online multiplayer with it than 3.
Yeah, whereas for me personally, like 3 was an event for me. Like it came out in September 2007. I remember I was at college. I got home from college. I bought it from Play.com, if you remember, which is now Zavvi, I think.
The amount of money I used to fucking spend on that website.
Yeah, right. Free delivery, Craig, and it used to come a day early if you pre-ordered it. Right, we all remember. But I remember getting home. I remember putting it in my console after a day of college, and it was a Friday night. So I was like, well, I ain't sleeping for 3 days, and playing it. Went online with a couple of friends. I think it was like 5 or 6 of us actually from college. Played multiplayer all night, then hopped online with another friend. Did the online co-op, beat the game on heroic, then went back, beat it on legendary, then played the DLC, and Halo 3 is it's an iconic game for the time. I played it a lot. For about 2 months, it changed the world of multiplayer on the 360 until a game I'll talk about in a moment.
Is 3 the one where you end in the Warhog?
Yeah.
When the ground's disappearing.
Yeah, the falling ground.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
I think I've told it before. That mission, my 360 then red ringed on that mission. I remember I played like 10 hours straight or whatever. Red ringed on that mission. I loaded up the 360 back. I had the achievement for finishing the game, but not finishing that level.
I had that.
That's why he hates Xbox, Dave. He's still holding on to it. It's all coming together now.
I had that similar situation with a game much higher, and I will talk about it in a minute, and I still love it. So, but Halo 3 is great, and I think everyone should play Halo on the Master Chief Collection like me and Craig did. We need to go back and finish 2, Craigo. We need to do it.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't fucking
hopefully it's fixed.
Crash like it did before.
And the game that stole its thunder for a little bit is my number 6, and that's Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, which I think, because Call of Duty is trendy now and it's easy to hate, I think people forget the absolute impact of COD 4. Like that, no one had played a multiplayer game like it, in terms of the loadouts, in terms of the
Fucking
unlocks.
iconic.
The kill streaks, the maps,
it's just
an iconic game. And then the campaign is such a perfect first-person shooter campaign. Like, it goes places you don't expect it to go. It's got characters that you like and want to succeed. It's a villain that you want to be defeated. Every single level is memorable. Every single one. You've got iconic levels like Gillied Up in the past in Chernobyl. You've got the submarine tanker on the first level. You've got the
Mile High Club at the end.
Mile High
I
Club
fucking
DLC,
love that
like
shit.
final epilogue. You've got the Middle East levels and what happens in those ones as the US. And you've got these factions that all play differently and have different sort of play styles, and it's just
Genuinely fucking hard as well. It's just back before Call of Duty was like, you could just do veteran like easily.
It's one of the hard, especially Mile High Club
sticks.
as well, really makes veteran difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, just an incredible game. Multiplayer, I played for hundreds of hours, and I when the remaster came out, I did it again. Yeah, just a fantastic game. And again, the 360 was king at this point for me, and playing Halo 3 and COD 4 in the same year, ridiculous. And also,
these two games, like 2007 was a good year.
It was a very good year for games. I mean, this year is also a very good year for games, but 2007 was a very, very good year. But it was also 1/2 years into new cycles, so I think people were just putting out good games, and it was, online was taking over, you know. So, but yeah, that's COD 4. Number 5, we've got Halo Combat Evolved on the original Xbox.
What game?
Again, just a life-changing game. I played mostly sort of, for want of a better phrase, kiddie games until I played Halo Combat Evolved, and then I was very much into the adult first-person, third-person shooters, the big budget games. It just, again, it did things that console games didn't do, being a big open world, having a really powerful soundtrack, characters in a world that you really enjoyed just being in. Again, it was a little bit horror-y with the twist of the flood, and it was a twist that, if you, obviously this is before YouTube and before online media, like, you just didn't see it coming unless someone told you. So when it suddenly breaks into a horror game, and then that sort of music hits where you're like panicked and you need to escape, it's just something else. And obviously created one of my favorite franchises and the platform I play the most on, so I think I have to owe Halo that, and I think it's my top 5 game.
The multiplayer. I didn't play the multiplayer back in the day, but the multiplayer on the Master Chief Collection is fucking amazing as well.
We played that more than any other game,
good.
I think, when we played the multiplayer.
Yeah, this is the thing. If you ever
MCC.
actually want to do a stream, Dave, play some Halo 1 multiplayer.
Me and Craig were pretty good at that crap when we were.
I was
MCC
like, for
stage.
someone who never played it back in the day, I was fucking good at Halo.
Just get the
1
pistol, shoot in the
multiplayer.
head, done.
It's so simple, so good. All the maps are amazing.
Oh yeah, Blood
Excellent.
Gold, Sidewinder. It is a great game, isn't it?
It really is. That's why it's my number 5. Number 4, I have Mass Effect 1.
Which is also
we've not got the
2007.
2.
No, I think I'm one of the few. And Mass Effect 2 very narrowly missed the 100 as well. I think if I replayed 2, I probably would put it back on the list, but it's been so long. But Mass Effect 1 has the best story of the Mass Effect games. It's the most self-contained. You have a villain throughout the whole game, and the twists it take, again, much like Halo, is like, oh, okay, that's actually quite interesting. I really like the Mako missions and the exploration. I really like the characters and their development. I really like the combat not being too shootery, but also shootery enough. The DLC is really fun. And again, that was I think it was 06, was that 07 as well, Pengy?
It was 2007 as well, so I think you got 3. I don't know when Sleeping Dogs and Persona came out, but yeah.
Sleeping Dogs was like 2012, 2013.
Yeah, but you got 3 2007 games in your top 10.
There you go, so it was a good year. But yeah, I played that game at Christmas. I got that and Assassin's Creed 1 at Christmas, I remember, and I played Assassin's Creed, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then I was like, oh, I'll try this other game. And then I just didn't stop playing the other game. I just played Mass Effect for hours on Christmas Day. But yeah, really love that game. The series is just not as good as it should be, which is sad. But yeah, 1 and 2 are really great games, and 3's fine. But they didn't make any more, so that's fine.
Yeah.
They stopped.
Number 3, which I think is the most modern game on this list, and that is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch. Still to this day, I play it all the time, and it was nearly impossible for me not to put this on the list. and this high, because to be quite frankly, if there's a game on this list that I could play right now and I would enjoy, and I could play in 10 years and I'd enjoy, it's Mario Kart. It's just a fun racing game that has got lots and lots of content. You know exactly what you're going to get from it, but it's fun. Like, there's nothing wrong with a game just being fun. I play it with my partner, I play it on my own, I play it on the plane, I play it on the TV. It's great. The online's fun. It's fun getting absolutely nailed by some Japanese players because they know what they're doing. It's fun getting a little bit European phobic when you see a load of French players play. Like, it's just a fun game. Like, it's just fun. I don't think you can argue with it, really.
I love that you have a Mario Kart in your third place. I think I have a Mario Kart in my third place as well.
I'm looking forward to your top 100, Craig. But yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Again, I played Mario Kart 8 a lot, and I didn't want to put both on the list. But I've played both. I played this one for 70 plus hours, and I played 8 on Wii U, which is pretty much the same game, for like 140 hours. So there we go. Number 2. So it was really difficult choosing my top 2 because I think these two games are always going to be my top 2. But I just couldn't quite decide, and I think in the end I went for, like, again, put it in front of me right now, what would I play? So my number 2 is Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Much like Pengy, Gears of War, the original 360 version, I'm missing the complete all levels on Legendary achievement, even though I've got all the acts completed on Legendary.
I feel I have that achievement.
For some reason I don't. No, I was on about comparing it for you for Halo, but
oh yeah, it bugged out. Yeah,
it bugged out. But Gears 1 was the real solidification of the Xbox 360 being my jam, and why it's my favorite console. Is that game came out like a ton of bricks, kind of out of nowhere, because I wasn't keeping up with games media as much back then. It was much more difficult to do. And I remember getting my mum to buy me that game because it was an 18 and I wasn't 18, I was 16. I was like, oh mum, can you get me this Gears of War game from work, please? She did. And then I played it and I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. Again, it had the Halo co-op feel and the like act structure of Halo, but it, you know, having the chainsaw machine gun, like having this again like horror element, because I don't like horror, but having the element of it I really liked, and I think Gears of War did it great. A villain you follow throughout the game, just a fun time. Really good characters. I know people go, oh, it's the Gears of War meatheads. I'm like, no, like they have real intricacies. Like Dom is a really interesting character. I think the least interesting character in the early games is Marcus Phoenix, ironically, but you know, Anya and Hoffman and having Jack the Robot and just some iconic levels in that game. And then the multiplayer was just incredible. It's the first real 360 game that I was like deep into the multiplayer.
You just switch to that shotgun and you just run at each other.
Right. And it was
whoever
so
shotguns who first wins.
Oh,
well, it was the learning curve was fucking brutal.
Right, and there wasn't much like respawning levels either.
No. It was you fucking die and you sit there and you watch and you learn from watching other people.
Right.
Oh, it's so good.
And this was the early time of the 360s, like you were in game chat with people you didn't know. I remember me and my friend Keelan playing with a load of Scottish middle-aged men. You'd be like, right, guys, you just got to make sure you get the shotgun and you stand here, and then it's just fine. Like, dudes, we go on there every night, and these two dudes, I think one was called Sniper Joe, and one was called like Sniper Jack, and they were brothers, and they were like, oh, you coming on tonight, guys? And they were like 35, and I think I was like 17, and me and Keelan were like, yeah, whatever, and then we just played. They were hard, they weren't weirdos, so we were just playing video games with them. It was in the early days when you could do that, and they weren't like fucking pedophiles or whatever, but yeah,
it had
lots of memories.
The most brutal host advantage I can ever remember.
It was
having.
yeah.
If you were host in a multiplayer game like that,
they switched to dedicated servers pretty quick into the second game. I think they weren't sure it was going to do well. It was Epic was still like a PC developer. So I mean, you got to remember this is like before matchmaking was really established. I think Halo 2.
Oh, it had the old-fashioned lobby system. You had to literally go and find the lobby and join it. Yeah.
Which they did fix in Ultimate Edition, but the online was never that popular for some reason. And obviously, I've picked Ultimate Edition because it has the extra act, and me and Craig have done that.
It's the better way to play it as well. Because we did a playthrough on Ultimate Edition, and then we started the 360 version, and you're like, oh, okay, the Ultimate Edition is actually it's a lot more stable.
Yeah,
it looks
the
better.
360 was 2006 that game came out. So
yeah.
But yeah, Gears.
I see you have Gears of War 3 on this list, 49, but you don't have Gears of War 2 on the top 100.
No, 2's a funny one because 2's good. Judgment is also good, but I think you have to be more than good to make it onto a top 100 list of games like this. And I just didn't play Gears 2 as much because it was my first year of uni, so I didn't really play the multiplayer that much. I played a little bit of Horde in LAN, but not enough multiplayer, or I think I've played the single player through once, so it just wasn't replayed enough. Whereas 3 and 1 I've played so many times. 4 and 5 were never ever getting on the list. I need to replay 5 just to give it another chance. And Tactics I'd like to get to as well. But and Judgment was fun. Me and Craig played Judgment. Not a top 100 game, Judgment, but it was a fun game. But yeah, and then we'll get to the final. My poor throat can finally end soon as we get to the number 1 game on my list. And that is, of course, Pokemon Gold and Silver on the Game Boy Color. And the reason that it was above Gears of War, again, you couldn't have much
Not
more...
Heart Gold and Soul Silver?
No, I didn't really play the remakes that much, and they don't have the nostalgia win that Gold and Silver have.
I will have another question on Pokemon, because you got Pokemon Red quite high. We talked about it. You've got Pokemon Pearl on this list, and obviously me and you replayed Diamond and Pearl not that long ago on Switch, and it was god awful.
But did we replay Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Pengy, or did we play Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond?
We played Shining Pearl and Diamond, yeah, but it's the same game with little chibi characters, isn't it?
It wasn't really the same game, was it? It was a remake. I liked the original game on DS, and I liked the features it added on the DS.
Right.
The online play and all that stuff. Gold and Silver did not have online play. No. But Gold and Silver is a pure sequel to Pokemon Red, so it's a follow-ation of the story, which I know sounds really funny, but there was a story in the early Pokemon games, and it just did everything the first game did, but better, with new features. You had genders, you had day and night cycles, you had specific Pokemon would arrive on specific days, or specific NPCs would load in specific times, and it just made everything better. Everything was better. You could go back to the world of the first game, which was crazy, and get 16 badges and fight the super boss at the end, and it just ramped up that game to a whole new level for me. And I was 10, 11 when that game came out. I remember playing it in my grandparents' temporary home, and they were building their house, and just absolutely adoring it. My Game Boy Color was used constantly, and then we did a 24-hour tournament of it at uni. If any of my uni friends are watching, they remember that. 20 of us went into a basement living room. We started the game at 8 p.m. from scratch, and then we played till 8 p.m. the next day. Then we did a tournament on Pokemon Stadium, and the winner won a pizza. We did that all the way through, and I did that. I got 16 badges and beat Red in 24 hours. And it was fun.
Nice. Did you win the pizza though, Dave?
I did win the pizza. I absolutely trounced the competition.
I'm proud of you,
David. In fact, I was so cocky that I took a 2-hour nap. Yeah, my friends can attest to that.
Nap.
But I was absolutely dominant at that game, and I just adored it. I remember every facet about it now. You put the game in front of you. If they just re-released the ROM on the Switch service, I'd play it tonight. I would just sit here and play it. I love that game. I wouldn't play the remake. I know the remake is better objectively, but there's something special about the sort of art style of the Game Boy games, and it's sort of brilliant simplicity. But yeah, absolutely my favorite game of all time. So that's my list. So we'll go through the stats before I might give my mouth a rest. So as you can see on the right hand side here, 16 of these games are Xbox 360 games. 13 are on the Xbox One, which did actually surprise me that I played that many games that I love so much on Xbox One, but maybe it shouldn't surprise me, Cricket. And we've already got 6 from the Xbox Series consoles. And apparently I like the Dreamcast just as much as any PlayStation console.
Because you were there, Dave. You were in the trenches.
I was there in the trenches on the Dreamcast. I did love the Dreamcast. But
I think I only had 3 Dreamcast games.
Even though you own 400 of them, and
I only own 200.
It's your second favourite game console of all time.
It's not, because I did the stats as well, but like I said, I did mine slightly different where it came out. PS4 top, because it's the console with the most exclusives in my list, and then it was the GameCube. And I do say the GameCube's my favourite console, because Wind Waker is my favourite game of all time, so it kind of makes sense as well.
But yeah, not for me, Pengy. But yeah, that's my list. So if you've obviously enjoyed the episode, let me know what you think of my list. Give me the criticisms for not having any Metal Gear Solid games, because they're not very good. Sorry, it's just true. The truth hurts, Pengy, but you're just gonna have to let it slide, and not having Last of Us because it's trash.
we do have a lot of crossover. Like you got Mass Effect 1, I got Mass Effect 2. We've both got Mario Kart 8. Obviously, not mine. We've both got 9 similar places. We've both got I got 2 Forzas. Like I got 4 higher and 5, but 4 is like I think I had it like 12. Similarly, you got 5. I've got gold. You've got red. So yeah, a lot of crossover for us. I just haven't got as many like racing games and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at my list, you can see that I love racing games. I love RPGs, but I also really like the peak 360 shooters and adventure games. So,
Yeah, I reckon if you took the racing games out of your list and took like the Metal Gear games out of my list, we would have a very similar list.
Yes, I think we would. But I mean, now the last one we got to do is Craig. Very
Yeah.
excited for Craig's list. I think me and Craig will have some crossover, and I
Yeah.
have absolutely fascinated if there's any crossover with Pengy from Craig.
I think there will be. I think God of War will be on Craig's list quite high. I could see Spider-Man and Horizon, sort of thing.
None of them in my
being
top
high.
50, I don't think, apart from Horizon.
None?
I think God of War's on my list somewhere.
Mm.
But yeah, that's the episode. Thank you. If you got this far, please comment. Pengy loves Bluey, and hit a like, hit a subscribe, and we will see you next week for the first December episode.
Bye.